mean,
if you do say so yourself.
I'm an incredible human being.
Yeah.
I am a little biased considering from Minnesota, so I'm just like, let him have a fresh start. That is confident, though, to say, okay, Chris Broussard still with us. Is he going to be a good fit in Philly?
In theory, this is great. You got a legit big three. You got a pass-first point guard. You've got a dominant big man. And you've got a wing scorer. That's like Magic, Kareem, and Worthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And maybe 10 years ago, it would have been perfect for the NBA. And I will say this, Jimmy Butler brings some positives that they didn't have. Number one, defensively, they already were good. He's a great defender. Mm-hmm. Number two, they needed a closer. They could have beaten Boston 4-1 instead of getting beaten 4-1 in the conference finals had they had a closer. So he is a closer. So he brings some things, and I hope it works out, and there's reasons to think maybe it will. However, there are tons of red flags, tons of them.
Yeah.
And number one red flag, you gave up all your shooting. You didn't have much to begin with. Not all your shooting, but you didn't have much to begin with. Covington was one of your best shooters. He's gone. Sarge was okay. He's gone. Now all you have is J.J. Redick. Also on the floor, Jimmy Butler's a bit ball dominant. How's that going to mesh with Ben Simmons?
So Ben Simmons, you weren't worried about Embiid.
Embiid, too, right. The spacing's going to be jacked up for today's NBA. But the bigger issues are the attitudes, okay? Number one, it was written, and I've talked to several people around the league, that his reputation around the league is that he was the problem, not only in Minnesota's locker room, in Chicago's locker room. And secondly, with Carl, he had problems with Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. When he says they know my heart, I think he's right in that his heart is in the right place. But these young boys, he thought they were soft. So when they're practicing and he ends up with the ball or guarding Karl Anthony Towns on the switch in the post, he's like, why aren't you taking me to the basket? You this, you that. And he means what he's trying to help you be tougher, right? Be better. I'm 6'7". You should be taking me to the basket, posting me up. But he goes at it in a way that all these young boys can't handle. Somebody told me that's close to Butler. Somebody told me, oh, Fultz is done. Like, Fultz is done. He's not, Jimmy is not going to sit there and coddle Fultz. Oh, it's all right. He's clearly got mental problems with his shot. And Jimmy's going to be like, Jimmy's like, I was homeless at one point in my life. Yeah, I was a late first-round draft pick. I didn't play much my rookie year. You a number one pick, and you can't get your shot right? And eventually, will he look at Ben Simmons that way? Like, dude, why can't you shoot? You knew last year they focused on you not being able to shoot. You came back, and you still can't shoot a lick?
He might call him out for not caring enough.
Right.
You know?
And then Jimmy wants to be the man. And Embiid's the man. And Simmons, even though Jimmy's going to score more, maybe Simmons is like the co-man. So will Jimmy be all right being number 3?
And that was the problem in Minnesota.
Wait, is your conclusion recipe for disaster?
My conclusion is I'm more lean toward it being disastrous. Okay. But I do leave some room that this could work and they could be, because I really hope it does, because I think we all would love for Simmons and Embiid to be contenders. But I think it.
In the East,
they
got 3 of the top 10 players in the East.
I got 3 of the top 6.
They got 3 of the top 10. They got 3 of the top 10 players in the East. Kawhi, Giannis, Kyrie. However you want to go after that.
That's whenever number 2 decides to
No,
play.
Skip.
But I don't even know if you can include him.
Skip,
go
at
ahead.
some point in time, you got to get that out your heart. Yeah, you got to, Skip.
He's balling, and they tough.
He's also sitting. He's balling and he's
too
sitting.
Much. You're right.
Yep.
You're sitting too much.
Okay.
Skip, it's hard for me to take Jimmy at his word when I know how badly things ended in Chicago and how bad they ended in Minnesota, and there's only one common denominator. It's Jimmy. It's Jimmy Butler. He wanted to be the guy. It wasn't good enough for him. He didn't want to be the guy anymore in Chicago. He wanted to get up out of there. Okay, he goes to Minnesota. These young boys, Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins, some guys, when I got into the league, Skip, and maybe this is basketball, Chris, you can speak to this. Guys wanted veteran guys to say, okay, how do you do it? This is how we did it. This is how we got better, blah, blah, blah. These young boys ain't about that now. They're going to do it their way. They didn't want to hear you yapping and how well, I was tough and all that. They ain't trying to hear that. Karl Anthony Towns wasn't trying to hear it. Andrew Wiggins wasn't trying to hear it. And guess what? Well, he didn't want to play with LeBron. He wanted his own team. Dude, you're going to be the second. You might be the third option on this team. Joel Embiid is clearly, he's the best player in the East. And it's not even close. He's number one. He's more competitive than Karl Anthony Towns. And Karl Anthony wasn't going to listen to you. So what you think Joel Embiid's going to do? Ben Simmons says, I got next. I'm 6'11", can handle the ball, a triple-double waiting to happen. So now Jimmy goes there. Now what, Skip?
So have you changed? Because yesterday you loved this, and you said they're going to be the best team in the East.
I still believe it, but that don't mean they're going to be listening to it.
It's potential for
Yeah.
I mean, look, it could work. I'm not saying it's going to be a disaster. I'm just leaning more toward that.
Just because you put three of the best players in one conference on one team, this is not a situation like Golden State, Skip.
This will work. I have zero negatives,
Really?
no
Zero?
trepidation, none. The big difference between what Jimmy is going to right now versus what he left in your hometown is that Karl Anthony Towns, as much as I love his God-given ability, and Andrew Wiggins, as much as I don't really love his God-given ability, he's athletic, I'll give him that.
He
but
got
he's not-
ability.
Got no motor.
He's got
He
the,
got ability.
and I don't know about his ability to just play basketball, but both of those young men are mentally soft. They're not. I'll just do it this way. They're not mentally tough. And now Jimmy Butler is joining two young men with superstar arrogance. They will see. The problem is once Jimmy got on Karl Anthony Towns, he shrank and he pouted, and Andrew shrank and he pouted, and it didn't work because they're like, leave me alone, and then they pouted and they wouldn't play with him. These two guys, Embiid and Ben Simmons, they know they're so good, they're so gifted that they might get mad at Jimmy Butler, but they're not going to shrink and pout about when he gets on them about you should be this and that. They'll say, okay, watch this, and it will inspire them just to be better because they're going to have some respect for Jimmy Butler because he has got that dog in him. Trust me, he is clutch closer on defense and offense. And again, Robert Covington, I kept telling you, I don't love him. The stats love him, the metrics loved him because he was high in defensive win shares. But when it was time to make the stop or the three-point shot, he's not the guy you're going to look to. Jimmy Butler is that guy. He'll take your best player and he'll nullify him.
So who get the last shot? Jimmy or Embiid?
Jimmy's going to take a lot of them.
Probably,
Oh, but that's going to be a problem.
No.
That's going to be a problem, Chris. You know
Well,
it.
I'm not the one that thinks hero ball is the way to go. Like, I don't think it has to be one guy getting the last shot all the time. So I think it could be a mix. I think it could be a mix of those guys.
Those two guys, they're already so sure of themselves, they will respond to Jimmy in ways that the two guys in Minnesota would not respond.
If I'm sure of myself, why the hell am I going to listen to Jimmy?
Well, or maybe you don't listen to him.
Exactly. There you go.
Okay, well, the two in Minnesota were listening. They were all ears.
Even if
That
they
was the
don't
problem.
right.
That was the problem.
Yeah.
That was just
If
too
you might be right, if they have that attitude, and I think Embiid does for sure, Ben probably, but Ben they still have issues on the court.
Yeah.
Like, where's the spacing going to be? Where's the three-point shooting going to come from? Like, Reddick's going to have – I think Reddick has to start.
I told Skip
He
that
will.
yesterday. He needs to go back into the starting lineup. And
JJ Redick made 42% of his threes last year. You don't think that'll work?
He's one guy, though. Nowadays, most teams have a few – and look, the Lakers have shot it better than we expected. So maybe Philly will shoot it better. And here's the other thing, the saving grace. They can get other players, like last year, they got Bellinelli, Ilyasova. Whether they trade for shooting or they add some shooting after buyouts later in the season, that's what they need to be looking at. If I'm the Sixers, I'm just in observation mode. If I'm Elton Brand, I'm just watching and seeing how it works. Because if it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world if Jimmy goes somewhere else as a free agent. Because I still have those two guys. And I gave up role players.
Yep, you did. Right. It's going to work because, again, you say 3 of the top 10. If you give me 3, what I think of the top 6 in one conference, I'm going to win. I'm just going to win. I don't care. You can give me chemistry or not.
Well,
they're just too good.
Skip,
I know, but they're just too good. Joel Embiid is shooting 80% from the free throw line. The other night against Charlotte, he made 19 of 22 free throws, and they were clutch free throws in a game that went overtime. I've never seen a big man shoot free throws the way he can. I've never seen a big man shoot. He'll shoot threes with a nice, easy stroke.
Sometimes he falls in love with the threes, and I'm like, Joel, come on now, get on down there. You 7-1,
He's
20.
the best player in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
I think Giannis is the best.
Do you?
I like Embiid.
Giannis got to show me something.
But you know,
that team is good.
Think about
Good.
it. Think about what y'all two saying. They the best team. Why are they the best players in the East?
Look, as much as I love LeBron, LeBron would be the best player in the East, but he wouldn't have the best team. Cleveland would not be the best team this year if LeBron was still there.
Come on, look what they got. They won 2 games, Chris.
I know, but
that's
how good he is. I'm just saying.
Let me ask you a question.
They coming. Giannis is coming.
Let me ask you a question. Put Giannis on Cleveland. He taking them to the finals?
Giannis is coming.
I just asked you.
That's all I'm saying. No, he's not LeBron James yet. He's not LeBron James. No, you're right. LeBron is better, but Giannis is coming.
I mean, I hope so.
If Giannis was an American-born kid with some American swagger, we'd be talking about him in a whole different way.
We can talk about it right now.
We like him, but it's going to be hard for him to be the face of the league because culturally, he don't have that.
LeBron's 16. I mean, at some point in time, somebody got to pass it.
Oh, yeah. It's no shame.
What Jordan Clarkson did last night? Jordan Clarkson had 25 last night.
Yeah, did you see what Jordan Clarkson did in the playoffs?
2 and 13.
Did you see what? Yeah, you see what he do in the playoffs?
That's LeBron's fault.
No, you see, there you go.
This is one of the greatest witnesses to LeBron's greatness is this Cavs team right now.
Well, there's no Kevin Love.
Even with Love, they might have one more win.
Yeah, okay, we get one more win.
One more win.
Look at LeBron.
Chris,
I mean, let that sink in for a second, Skip. They got 2 wins.
But Shannon, Giannis is coming. Trust me.
We can talk about him another day. But
You don't want no parts of LeBron.
you guys riled up.
You don't want no
Thank
parts
you
of
for
LeBron.
being here. Chris is...